We're shaking, folks. Back with another reaction, back with some more Echo and the Bunnymen. And we're going back to Heaven Up Here. Once again, big shout out to Amber for sharing their albums and EPs with us. And the next track on Heaven Up Here is The Disease. A disease, whether it's a viral disease or whether it comes from genetic predispositions, it's some malady, some negative functioning of one's organs or nervous system. It's something which will be deleterious to your health. Now that could be it could be a terminal disease, meaning it leads to death. It could be a debilitating disease, so that even if it doesn't kill you, it could cause severe harm. It could just be very painful, even though it doesn't actually lead to any severe consequences. Maybe even if it isn't that, it's a burden. It could perhaps cause problems in certain aspects of your life. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if that's conceptual or figurative, meaning a disease could be someone's addictive behavior. It could be an emotional attitude, maybe leading them into abusive or exploitative situations. Maybe they are attracted to a certain type of person that generally doesn't treat them decently. So I wonder what the disease could be, and if we are talking a more metaphorical understanding. Either way, I'm intrigued, just because, again, at this point it sounds like a lot of their sound, and indeed Amber was saying this when she was describing the album and the different emails that she had sent in relation to the different releases, that this album is still very much in the post-punk vein, and that is sort of the energy and the sonics, and that, the sound perhaps which they are more known for, like say the Killing Moon type of sound, that doesn't come till a bit later. So yeah, ultimately, I wonder what we'll hear and what the nature of the title will end up being. So let's find out. This is Echo and the Bunnymen from the album Heaven Up Here, and the track is The Disease. My life
that could always change with comparative ease. Just given the chance. My life is the earth, twixt muscle and spade. Wait for the word, digging for just one chance. As prospect diminish, as nightmares swell, some pray for heaven while we live in hell. My life's the disease. My life's the disease.
Poetic language. To the echoed vocal, but then we get this like answer rattle.
Don't waste them. If you get
It's a short one. That's crazy. Like, I hear that. I don't necessarily hear pop punk or pop punk. Post punk. I definitely don't hear pop punk. But yeah, that's crazy. That feels more experimental than most of what I've heard from them so far. That crazy bass heavy intro, it did feel a bit like unpleasant, or as if there was some lurking menace, and if the track's called Disease, there could be some corrosive pathogen, whether that's more literal or figurative, that has already infected But then it sort of like shifted into a slightly different sound, like when the guitar came in. But even then, it wasn't like, a lot of tunes I've heard from them, which again, somewhere in that post-punk new wave type of feel. So yeah, this one was different and felt more experimental. I'm still not quite sure the meaning of the phrase, and ultimately that was partly because the vocals were like this crazy echo. It almost like phased into another dimension, and then I was sort of caught with the way that the echo like warble of the vocal was then like essentially answered by that rattling layer. So yeah, a cool tune, even if I'm not quite sure what it's about. And yeah, one that felt very short. Let me, like, how long was it? That can't be more than like 2.5 minutes. Not even that. A little bit less than that even. So as I said, I'm not quite sure what the disease is, but a really cool track, and one that sort of expands my expectations of just how off the beaten path we might, or they might go, and we might hear. Sometimes your parallel structure, you get in trouble. But yeah, again, there's some other groups I'm going through, like OMD, for example, where it's like I've heard enough of crazy tracks from them where it's like, they could do anything now. Or like, Roxy Music or something, where it's like, I have no idea what to expect, and that's the only thing I expect. Whereas here, again, even with this early configuration, I've gotten some sense of what the sonics are, but this sort of changes the overall equation. So a cool tune, and one that perhaps isn't like a track that's likely to be a catchy single that everyone remembers, but perhaps one that is a bit more showing their artistic side. So either way, shout out to Amber once again. Do let me know what you think of this. I will see you next time. Peace.